Welcome to Cattle Ranch Season 4. This year is all about getting out of debt. If you missed the first few seasons, you can find a playlist on the channel, Cattle Ranch 25, but we've got dairy cattle, we've got our beef cattle, and recently we started a TMR operation, a feed operation, where we are trying to make as much money as possible just selling feed from cattle. Well, everything that you can produce from cattle is what we're trying to make money off of. But over here, this silo will take in grass or other things as well and turn them into hay and silage for us. And off camera, in between episodes, we installed the TMR mixer that will mix it for us. So we have distribution going from there over to here, and then we can just come pick it up. But the big issue we're gonna have right now is prices are not good to sell TMR right now. So we're gonna have to find a way to store TMR. We have 100,000 liters over there right now, which is the max capacity for the production. Well, we just took 24,000 of it out to start feeding the cattle. But after that, we're gonna have to figure, what are we gonna do? Because we don't wanna sell it when it's so low. I think it's like $200 per 1,000 liters below market price right now. Total mixed ration here is at, well, there's a great demand right now, surprisingly, at the animal dealer. So I think we're gonna have to take advantage of that. Proves me kind of silly. I kind of want to take advantage of that before we do anything else. So let's get that sold. We'll have to look around for some silos. If there's something we can store the TMR into. And probably, well, you know, we want to get out of debt. So upgrading tractors and all that, we're gonna have to just deal with the equipment we have. And I think I made a decision on the forage equipment we bought last episode. We'll get over there eventually. We'll probably switch tractors since I noticed. Yeah, I think that would be best. Well, we have to feed, I'm rambling. We have to feed the cattle with this one because our other case tractor will not fit in the dairy enclosure. So we'll get the cattle fed and then we'll do a nice little selling session to see how much money we can make off of TMR. Surprise to start January. And we'll see how long that great demand lasts as well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it did take about 12,000 of it this time. We have a bunch on the ground we're gonna have to scoop up eventually. Let's go sell the rest of this 12,000 since we're so close to the animal dealer. Oh, well, you know what? I want to get a full load. I don't want to risk that. So we'll top off. We'll see if they need it. I think we have a decent amount with the other cattle right now. Yeah, they have enough right now, so let's go ahead. We're gonna cruise on over here, switch out tractors, and do a decent little selling session to get January going. Oh yeah, much better speed here with the Puma. And just cruise right up here, finish getting this completely full. It should still say, oh, it says 70. Yeah, time's not really moving. Let's get that going so we can get more produced. All right, let's head to the animal dealer. Do lots of loops here, at least 4. Make a little bit of cash to start the episode. Yeah, so I don't know if I made it completely clear in the intro there. I got distracted by the TMR being at a high peak price, which shocked me. We started with $500,000 debt, so we did start from scratch, and we've had to earn our way up to what we have now. And we have not paid off a penny of the debt. So it's not a ridiculous amount that we get hit with every month, but we do get hit with that interest fee. And we're just not paying off the principal at all, and it's just slowing down our progress to grow the farm. Are we gonna be able to sell this here? So we're going to try to make a ridiculous amount of money and make decisions that are going to get us out of debt this year, and then we can go a little more aggressive with growing the feed operation like I was trying to do on the last episode. I think we got a little carried away there and made some mistakes because of some of the ridiculous goals that we set up. Yeah, I want it on this. See, that's why I thought I had to go the other way, because it comes out on this side. I don't understand that. On that base game pasture there, it's kind of silly, but good money coming in. Every load we are going to bring in $11,000. So that'll be a good start, and I think we are gonna sell that forage equipment and just kind of regroup on that plan once we can afford to buy the right equipment for it. So we'll stick with grass, and then with our 2 fields, we have barley planted, and that'll give us a good crop to sell, as well as the straw we're gonna need for the cattle. We also want to get a new enclosure for our beef cattle eventually, but debt's gonna be the main focus right now. So there's a lot that I still want to do on this series, and I do have an in mind for the land I want to purchase and building a house and everything. But I really feel like this year we focus on debt. Next season, it might be more than a year that it takes us to get out of debt, but we'll figure that out. But then next time around, we will focus more on expanding. And it should really speed us up. I think that's the plan. All right, let's get a lot of this sold. It's going to be a lot of back and forth. And then we want to get mulching the field behind me because I do want to get some soybeans in there to make more money. And I believe we might also have some corn to sell. We'll have to double check that. So those of you that missed last episode, we did plant corn in hopes to chop it into chaff to make silage with, but we weren't able to get the equipment that we needed for that. So let's look while that's filling up. Time-saving stock check. We do have some corn to sell, and it is at a peak price, and it's on its way down. Oh, we might have missed that. But we're not going to sell hay or silage anymore. We're going to just sell TMR because it does make more money when it peaks. But we also have lettuce that we're going to sell, a lot of lettuce. So a lot of early on money making today, which will definitely help with our process. But prioritizing buying a silo or something that we can transfer this TMR into when the prices aren't good, because we're actually maxed out on what we could produce right now because we have nowhere to store the excess. Lots of rambling. I'll see you in a little bit. Selling another load. I am trying to set up auto drive, but the configuration in here is kind of insane. So we'll see if we're able to figure it out. Lots of existing dots out here, and I don't know if they all line up together. There's another 11,000. We're going to put a tag. Let's pull a little bit farther forward. And we will call this, let's call it an deal. Make it a little easier. And then we'll guess that this is going to be able to make it back to the entrance. But I'll join you in a little bit. Showed enough of this recently in videos. And time to multitask. We need to get some work done while we're waiting for the rest of that TMR to get sold, and then we'll sell the corn. But we definitely need the case to actually take care of all that. So we're gonna start working on mulching here, trying to really maximize our yields. So we'll get locked in here and get this going. And this tractor should be fine, you know, until we can switch back to the case. So it's not lowered. It's not lowered. It's not doing anything. There we go. Now it is mulching. We'll have to remember we missed that part before we do too much here. Mulched, yeah, it is showing it. And we can see the Pumas coming back. Gonna get full and go back. If we look at the production now, the mixed feed cows here, we have this custom one that I created with hay and silage that makes 3,000. Here's the other recipe we might be switching to once we have straw, because it'll give us a little more TMR for a little cheaper cost by using straw, but we still have 60,000 in here and a good amount to process. So we'll take a look at that demand and make sure once we see this drop, we stop selling. But it is well above the peak. You can see it does drop to 372. Peak is 447, but right now it's at 487. So definitely taking advantage of that. And then I do have a silo that we downloaded that we're gonna see if we can afford to store the excess TMR. But since we're gonna sell so much of it, we might not need that yet. And making pretty good time here. We got the headlands done, and I'm hoping to be able to get some lime put down if we need it. We'll have to double check that. Maybe one application of fertilizer. Just trying to figure out ways that we can be a little more efficient and take advantage of this time of year before we can plant in the spring. And we'll have the grass ready in the spring, both fields. We'll have to get those cut. The barley this summer, and then we'll probably do beans in here. I don't know, corn might be more profitable. Maybe we just get better at doing corn. But we did corn last time, so I guess we'll crop rotate here. And looking at the map, they are successfully getting over there. It should be see an increase of the dollar amount here momentarily. Yep, there it goes. Working perfectly. And finishing up the mulching here. International handled it well. We have the tractor, the case coming back, still selling. We're gonna have to double check. I think we might run out of full loads over there while it's still producing more goods. But let's head on in. We need to figure out what's next. I do know that lettuce is gonna be sold soon, so we might get to a decent amount of this debt paid off pretty quick in this episode here. More storage is needed, but debt is the focus. Eventually we'll get to this gorgeous farm build, get this all finalized. All right, looking here, we do have 26,000, so they're burning through it pretty quick, or producing it pretty quick, which makes sense because it's just mixing it together. But looking at our fields here, let's double check our lime need, and we're good on that. So we could do some fertilizer before planting. But the planter does do fertilizer, doesn't it? Or maybe it doesn't. Let's double check that. We only have 200 liters. Oh, there might be some more over there. Okay, let's get this out of the way though, because I think I think I made my mind up what I want to do here. I want to do some fertilizer. And then after that, we will have to do some cultivating. And then we can plant. So that's definitely the setup I think we want to do. And they're going with another load, so nice round numbers. Let's start paying off the debt. Finances, I'm gonna repay. Let's repay 50 right now. We're gonna hold on to some money just to be safe, but I think we'll be fine financially here. Nice to start getting that out. The debt paid off. We're down to $450,000 to go in that debt. But yeah, we'll get our first application of fertilizer down. And then I don't remember. I guess I should have double checked that planter. Either way, this is a good strategy. So this is when we have it as just seed. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get 50% fertilizer here. We'll cultivate, we'll plant. We'll spread fertilizer again, treat the weeds, roll it, all of that. And that's all. That's a lot of jobs to still do on this field. Barley is, just growing. The grass is just growing. But we're definitely going to take advantage of winter as much as possible here to get a good jump start on spring. And boy, it's pretty obvious where we've been here. That nice color on the mulched ground there. This will be cake. Really like the way it changes the field on this setup here with the mulched and the fertilizer. But we're all done here. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, that's pretty sweet looking texture. 50% fertilized there. Next, we'll have to do the cultivating. But we are going to check on the price of corn here in a second. The case is waiting to be completely filled up at the TMR production. So if we take a peek in here, we should see it's, numbers are popping in there, 3, and then it'll pull the 3 out, and it'll keep doing that till it's full. Or we could adjust the configuration for it to just go now. But once I get over there, we'll take a deeper look. It looks like we do have a wood beam to sell, which would be helpful. There might be more than one in there. I've been neglecting that. And maintenance on our vehicles might be something we want to prioritize too soon. But to keep an eye on that. This one is getting close to desperately needing it. And it's on its way. So I think that'll be the last load that we have it processed today. We need to make sure we save, a decent amount of the fertilizer. One track mine here, the TMR for our own animals. So let's see, we get this backed up correctly here, avoid that lime, and we're good. Beautiful. Yeah, so they still have a decent amount to make. So we're gonna start off with silage first, because I believe, no, they should have moved it all now. Yeah, nothing over here. We have a little bit of hay that they'll still send over to the mixer. So definitely want to start with silage, but eventually, as we drop stuff in the fermenting silo, we'll want to have both of those activated so it evenly creates hay and silage. Okay, prices of corn. Man, it's on its way down. I don't understand why it says January, but it's on its way down. So do we hold off on this? I think we sell it today. What are we going to lose if we sell it today? About 8,000. Or we can wait until next November. Lettuce is going to help a ton in February. We're going to get close to getting out of debt pretty fast here. So we are going to have some more to sell. After we sell that silage. I think I am going to sell the corn. But I'm going to get the cultivator going and start cultivating that field. And then we're going to take over what the case is doing. All right, they're going to get started. Looks like Sam's working for us today. And selling the last bit, we are going to, like I said, turn off the auto drive, take over. Oh, didn't know that would stop it. All right, we are sitting at $54,000. And we're going to sell more, so I am getting itchy here. Let's go ahead and back in the finances. We're going to repay another 50. So we're down to $400,000 in debt now. Just killed 20% of that debt pretty instantly here. All right, 65,000 liters of corn. Let's see where we're selling it. I didn't catch that earlier. We're gonna go to the grain silos. So it'll be probably about 3 trips. Oh, do we have a problem? No, we can sell with this. It's completely fine. All right, let's see what each load's gonna bring in here. Man, our equipment is filthy. Might be adjusting the unloading speed on this. 30,000 per load, nice. All right, let's go get the next 2 loads. And then figure out how much debt we're gonna pay off here. And we got a couple more things we're gonna sell before we make it February to sell that lettuce. We're also gonna double check to make sure lettuce prices aren't great right now. You guys probably noticed every time I showed time-saving stock check, I didn't even look at that number, but we'll take a look here momentarily. All right, another third. Oh, it's going down a little bit. So the price is dropping, so let's hurry up. We're at 64,000. I was gonna stop and make a payment, but we can wait for that. $64,000 now. Not a full load left on this last one, so I'm hoping to get around 75,000. And then all the lettuce, man, we're gonna be close. We're definitely gonna get out of debt in year 5, I believe. If not, we're gonna keep going until this episode ends. This episode will end with us being debt free. If we get that like in June, we'll keep going all the way for the entire year. So minimum 1 year, maximum when we're out of debt. All right, the last bit of corn going in here, 19,000 is what we had. And while that's going, let's go in here and vehicle-wise, we're gonna get rid of the forage equipment because we just don't need it right now because we can't use it anyways. And might as well make the money off it. So that was like 52,000. This one's gonna be 72,000. So yeah, we're gonna get out of debt here. Not right now, but definitely pretty quick here. So 200,000. Yeah, that's absolutely gonna come off the books right now. Feels good. We are $200,000 in debt right now. We've paid off 300,000 already this episode. Between the lettuce and, yeah, we're gonna get close. And I already feel like we're in such a better financial state when it comes to the amount of money that's gonna come out every month. It just feels good to start working on this debt. Lettuce is officially above peak price. Let's go ahead and go sell this 36,000, and then we can finally focus on just farming for a while. All right, here we go. Oh, we got multiple numbers there. $133,000. So we're gonna leave it at 33,000. We're gonna pay off another 100,000. So our debt is officially down to $100,000. Let's make it so. There we go. 33,000 in the bank account. 100,000 in debt. Super close, guys. Awesome start. All right, we are gonna take this over from them, and I'm going to finish cultivating here, and I will rejoin you when it's time to plant the soybeans. Well, it is April. We got some rain going. We're taking care of the grass first. We're gonna get all of this into the fermenting silo, and this is going to turn into silage at first, so we're gonna keep an eye on that, and then we're gonna activate both silage and hay like we talked about once we're at a good cadence there. Let's take a look at those productions. So right now we do have 23,000 hay, but if we go over to the mixed feed cows mod, it has 100,000 hay already. So we're about 130,000 ahead right now that we need of silage. So once that gets up, what's the ratio here? It is 1-to-1. It is 1-to-1. So once we get about 130,000 liters of grass in here, we'll activate that. Well, once we get 130,000 of silage. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. We're already over here dropping off the first load. Mowing's going good. Once the mowing is complete, we will definitely get to that harvest. Or not the harvest, sorry. Once the mowing's complete, we'll get to planting the soybeans, though both these fields are ready. This one's ready to cut as well. So I think what we'll do is we'll prioritize this first field. We'll get planting going for the soybeans because we got to get that done this month. Worst case, if we fall a little bit behind, we can cut that grass field in May and be on a little different cadence between the two. So first load going in. The capacity, I already forgot what's in there, but didn't even get around the headland. So they're gonna have a little bit of time to go here. So that was 30,000. We're gonna go ahead and get the silage activated, and it's gonna start distributing it over here. So this is gonna fill up to 100,000 pretty quick once it gets some silage over here. And we're gonna have to, at that point, figure out what we wanna do for storage. So we're gonna have to move TMR out of here into some type of silo, and then out of that silo we'll sell it and feed the cattle. So doing a quick update here, I think straw's still good, so we might... Oh, they blocked each other. I'm gonna switch this to year 6 in April, I guess. So over here we do have 42,000 straw left, so they're cooking a manure. We eventually need to get some equipment to be able to spread fertilizer, or spread manure for fertilizer, because we have 33,000 manure already. And then we'll also probably want a slurry spreader as well, because over here we have about 60,000 liters of slurry already. So cattle are doing good. Milk is up to 24,000, which is something we haven't thought about selling yet, because I don't think there's a location to sell milk. There's not. So we'll have to get a production going to bottle the milk. Or we can put a sell everything location, but I prefer the production personally. So capacity here, yeah, once we get close to the top here of being completely full of milk, we'll have to figure something out with it, but looks like they're making good progress. I'm gonna let this get done with the cutting, and then we're gonna take over planting. So I'll see you then. Well, I was trying to let the rainstorm pass, but here we are. We're doing the planting of some soybeans. And I know last episode we said we're just gonna focus on items that we need for the feed mixer, but we got to get out of debt. We got to get better equipment before we can be really efficient at that. And I feel like soybeans will be a good year. Next time around, we'll do corn again. So it'll just be 1 year. And then we'll figure out, we'll probably start, I don't know, we probably need to start flipping these fields and maybe do some oats or something in spring. I can just do spring planting so we can do a corn here and oats there and then back and forth. Do the crop rotation that way. And still get straw. So we are going to probably have to help. I did do an update to course play that they're not finding the paths anymore when an auto drive course play configuration. So I am 2 minor versions behind on auto drive, so we'll probably update that in between recording sessions and see if it helps. But let's try to bust this out. We'll help out the auger wagon over there that I had start, or the forage wagon that I had start their course over again, trying to see if I can get it to work a little bit better. But going good. We'll have to do some rolling on that field after this to get that fertilizer state on the grass field, and if time allows us, we will get to the cut of the grass on the other grass field as well here in April, so we can maximize the TMR we make this year. Well, no relief from the rain yet. We're about done with the headlands here, and I mean, this hail is intense. So hard to kind of see things. Thought about doing a time lapse. I thought the rain was going to stop. So if we didn't, it's because it looked terrible with the hail, but maybe it's in there. But keeping going here, and I'm expecting to have to help them here momentarily when they fill up that forage wagon. And 40% of the seed burnt through already. I don't know. We might need to fill up at least once. Yeah, I hope this. Let's look at the forecast. 10 o'clock, not at 12. It didn't show up at 11 either, so about 30, well, 50 more minutes, so we'll get a break here. I think we're making good time, though. Still a lot to do today. We got to take care of the weeds. We got to roll both fields. Should have time, hopefully. All right, they finished their field work over here, so let's go ahead and take over. We are going to pick up this little bit that they refused to. I think they just kind of messed up their route. All right, 21 more thousand. I think we're close to being able to turn both on, but we're almost full in the mixer. And it does mix fast, so I think we might use the capacity in the fermenter to just hold off on buying that silo until we absolutely need it, because we're going to need a lot of capacity as well. We're not going to just need another 100,000. We're going to need probably, eventually, I'm hoping we need like 1 million for capacity and get a couple semis going long term for when it comes time to sell. Let's go ahead and dump that. We'll take a look. Over here, we have grass of 86,000. And then over here, these numbers are starting to get closer to each other. So that's what we want to see. These numbers get pretty similar. And then in the fermenting silo, we could then turn on the hay production again. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. Let's go ahead and drop that for now. We're going to grab the roller. We're going to get this doing the rolling so we don't have to put fertilizer down on the grass field. And we'll get back to the planting. But I think we need to prioritize the soybean field. So we'll see what time it is when we get done with fertilizer and rolling over there and weeding. And I guess worst case we could do weeding overnight. But I don't know if we're going to get to the cut of this grass until May, which might be okay to have them on a different cadence like that. Like I think we did prior. I don't know what happened. But I'll go ahead and hand that over to a worker and let him get rolling on that, literally, while we finish planting the soybeans. And I'll see you in a little bit. And last pass here. We did fill up one time, so we do have 60% left in here, so pretty good. Field's looking great. We got rolling, weeding, and fertilizer to put down on it still. And I'm gonna check how they're doing on the other rolling, because I think it might be time for me to just take over all the work to get it done a little more efficiently here. They're taking a little bit more time to turn around every time than I would on the rolling, and that's always a problem with the workers in FS25, or any FS, to be honest. All right, away we go. Not a lot to do still, so they did a good amount for us, but we'll get this done, and then we'll probably jump to, I don't know, maybe fertilizer next on the soybean field, and then we'll do the rolling. And then I think overnight we'll just have a worker do the weeding for us. And I think we will go to May before we cut that other field, just to get them on a different cycle, so we're not doing all this work and rushing each month. I think that'll be a good plan. Well, it's only 1:30. We got this done, so we'll see how much we can get done. Not ruling out that grass field yet, but I think it would make sense to split them up. But we're gonna put all the equipment we need, you know, close by. Well, we need to clean some of this stuff. Let's just put it over here. And we're gonna leave this tractor connected to this for now, just to kind of remind me. Now let's get the big roller, because we're gonna do things, like I said, that are required this month. Fertilizer's not required. We can do that next month, worst case, but we'll do the rolling first. And then if we have time, I think we will have time to get to everything on the soybean field. It's just, will we have time to do the mowing, because we do need this machine to mow. So maybe we will swap after that. We'll see. And getting rolling going here. Yeah, with this width of an implement, shouldn't take very long to get this rolling done. Field looks amazing. And let's double check the fertilizer, because that is super dark. Yeah, still needs one more application of fertilizer. Everything else is looking good. This field turned out great. As far as lime goes, I think we're still good for at least another cycle before we have to worry about that. Let's bust this one out. We're almost done rolling. Let's get this cleaned up. We're going to get it set up on the weeder. I need to get the dual wheeled one because it's so much better. You saw that on the chicken series. Don't have to stand here forever to wash things. My shoes are definitely going to be clean. And while we're here, we might as well clean this off. There's the sweet spot there. It's going down much faster. Wish you could just spray anywhere, but I mean, I guess you kind of can and role play it. But there's always that sweet spot that goes so much faster. All right, things are going good timing-wise, so I am going to get the weeding going. And then once we're done rolling, we'll get the fertilizer, and then that'll allow us to just focus on grass in May. And possibly selling a little bit of lettuce, even though the price isn't great. If we need to, we're gonna evaluate that in the morning if we need to make that silo or not. Because we're gonna be flooding the fermenting silo with goods, which is then gonna finally fill up. So we could get a second one of those long term if we needed to, but I don't know if we're gonna need to. See if we can avoid it by having a silo. If we ever get backed up in the fermenting silo, then we would get another one. But more grass fields or a bigger grass field is definitely part of the plan. Expanding the one directly in front of us, and the one down there I think is going to get expanded long term. I'll have to look at. I do have a map of exactly the farmland we're going to own when we're done, and how these fields are going to expand. It's quite large actually. And finish rolling. Beautiful. We're gonna roll off the field and then we'll fold it so we don't leave any tire tracks. I guess we're gonna when we do the fertilizer anyways. Let's let these wheels turn so we can drive again. And they're making good time on the weeding, so we'll get all this done before nightfall. Pretty nice. And hopefully we can avoid the weeder. I think we'll be fine. We've been able to do that before in the past. So applying lime here. Lime, it's fertilizer. It's definitely fertilizer. Solid fertilizer. And this should get this field to 100% yield bonus. The only thing that could improve the yield bonus at this point is if we had good soil types and we switched to precision farming, which I don't really want to on this playthrough. I like to mix it up on the playthroughs with that setting, or with that mod not being enabled all the time. Yeah, hopefully... Worst case, we have to go slow or let them get a little bit ahead if we are lined up exactly the same, but should be good. Let's get her done. Fertilizer is all complete now with just this little pass here. Weeding's making a good time. I think it is a good opportunity to shut the GoPro off and relax until May. I'll see you guys in a little bit. What's up, guys? Before jumping back into the video, I wanted to give you guys a little view of the mod that we modified. I'm using Visual Studio Code. Let me move this over just a little bit so you can see. Yeah, that's better. So here you can see the file structure, and I'll try to zoom in on this on edit. But the file structure here, the big thing is the mod description. It's going to show us that there's these two store items, and the one we care about is the TMR feed DS XML. So when we come over here, there's lots of information that I don't want to go too deep into a dive here, which is just a tiny segment of a video. But if we hop down to production points, originally this block was not in the code base. It was just this top one. Whoops, I just moved that. This top production here, which was requiring hay, silage, straw, and mineral feed to make TMR. I decided to add a secondary option in here that just had hay and silage, similar to how the feed mixers work. So we copied that. I used the same amounts, but I changed the forage or the TMR output amount to match the input that we're doing. And then just did the same cycles that the mod already used. But if you came in here, you really wanted to make this OP, we could change this to 100 cycles. It's already a pretty good mod that performs pretty quick. So I did want to show that. And as well as like capacity, if we really wanted to change the capacity that this stores, we could change that here as well. And obviously it's something that's only going to work for people that are on PC, but that's how you would change it. That's how I did change it. Let's get back to the video. We are back at it here in May, and our fields seem to be 100% fertilized. We don't have any weeds going on, so we're going to put the fertilizer spreader away. And we're gonna get to cutting the grass in the field behind us. A little, redundant from what, let's use controller. Seems to be the way that I have control of backing things up. The joystick works real good for me. Look at that. But yeah, a little redundant, but we got a lot to do here to make the goals that we've set for ourselves. So it's gonna be a lot of grass cutting, and that thing's probably full and not producing anything, but before we get the second tractor working on picking up the grass, we'll get this started. We'll take a look at the production and see if it is time to activate both lines in that fermenting silo of making hay and silage, or if we still need to make some silage to even out the numbers, as we were mentioning earlier on, I should say. So if I'm remembering correctly, we should have a course for this that we can just set and fire off. Grass 2, mow and pick up. We'll go ahead and load that course. We'll do first waypoints and have them go. I wanted to make sure swath dropping was working still. We didn't change anything, so it should work. Yeah, absolutely. So this is the second growth stage. Yes, ready to harvest, ready to harvest. Over here, we should be one growth stage away. So that'll be July when it's ready. Yeah, and then August for that one. Ooh, be quick. Be a lot of grass cutting. Yeah, 2 of 4, so we'll have that ready for July. And then if I'm remembering correctly, we should have... Yeah, we will have a harvest in June and be able to get straw going into the production here for feed. Well, potentially, we might not switch to that, but we definitely need the straw for manure. So let's take a look. Yeah, straw, they still have 39,000, so we're going to get by until it's time for them to get more, but I think we need to take care of the other cows. Yeah, the capacity of feed is going to get to us, so... It's either modify the base game pastures to allow more food, or we need to buy a new barn that we can have our beef cattle live in. And I think that's what we're going to want to get to. But we got to get out of debt first before we expand. I absolutely want to focus on that. I did something. Last night I watched I watched the chicken video, the first 2 years of the chicken challenge, and I'm going to do some adjustments. And I meant to do that now, but I was worried about doing it in the middle of a video. I noticed, because I watched on my TV for once, and I noticed like 56% of you guys watch on television, which I'm amazed by. I think that is so cool. Eventually, I think I'll probably start watching more YouTube on my TV as well. I really did enjoy it last night. I watched a few of my videos. I noticed that the colors are a little bright and hurt on the eyes a little bit, depending on the crop types and the materials. So I'm going to play around a little bit with reshade. That's what I've been using for about a month or so now. And that's probably why my videos look a little brighter than other people's videos that aren't using reshade. Yeah, I think I noticed I was having a hard time with it being a little bit of glare almost. And it was hard to read some things if I wasn't straight on looking at the TV. So what do we need? We need this. And it might be a struggle for this to pull it, but I think we'll be fine. And we need to get at least some feed. Whoops, over till the mixed ration. Yeah, it was full. And we'll get some feed across the way to the beef cattle. We could, just so that we keep this production going, we could feed the other cattle as well. But let's get this one first. We'll go from there. We have a feed mixer up there, don't we? We didn't need to do it with this. This might work better, actually, but we'll see when we get over there. Yeah, and getting them a new pen that has the water piped in would be nice, too. That's something that I've been doing off camera a lot and actually miss doing, so we're a little behind on where the beef cattle would be producing babies-wise. Oh, we have a full mix over here, too. I prepped. I prepped. Gosh. Okay, so this, we might end up just selling. We'll see how bad the price is, but we might end up just selling this since it's in the gravity wagon there. And I need to get something to scoop that up and feed them eventually, too. So let's hook up to this. I think we should have enough power to handle it. And let's get that perfect spot there. And we'll get them fed and double check. Water should be okay. Oh, it's getting low. So we need to do a little bit of water right now as well. So that took most of it. So 1,500 here. I am going to leave this right here for now and do a little bit of water work. And I'll rejoin you in a little bit after doing a bunch of trips down to the lake. Boy, the soybeans seem to be coming in real nice too. Couple of weeds on the edge of the field that we didn't get. You can see there's one coming up here. I can't tell. See, that's one of the things that's just way too bright. Yeah, and I'll probably, once we get moved over to picking up the grass, I'll definitely start adjusting those while we're not filming something. But all right, I am going to elect to keep this and feed. Well, we're gonna see if I can get in there with it. I don't know if I'll be able to back up good enough to feed the cattle over here, because I believe we will have capacity and we need to empty this before the harvest next month. They're getting a good jump start on us over there. That's perfect. If it wasn't for the rolling, I would be tempted to just leave that on the ground and we could multitask a little bit. Oh, this is gonna fit perfect. It's not gonna help too much. All right, that's as far as it's gonna let us go, but we can empty it. And if all this goes in there, that would be ideal. If not, in the morning, we could just top them off with it and leave this cart here. I don't know why the most of it went in, but the back end wouldn't come in all the way. That's interesting. I don't think the height of it changes back there, does it? No. Just silliness. But it does unload really slow. And almost all of it fit. That's nice. So yeah, we'll definitely... I'm gonna leave this right there for now and get out of here. Our happy cows should have plenty of food. I think we'll go with this for a little bit. There's a little bit less brightness to the greens. And the sharpness is the real thing. Like if I open up, I hit home and I can show you what I have. I have the HDR, which just makes it look crisper. And then the adaptive sharpness. Like if let's hit this and get a little bit zoomed in on this Case IH here, and then we shut off the sharpness, you can see just slightly improves some of the fuzziness. It makes it look a little more clear to me, and I like that. It might look a little more cartoony and less realistic at some points, but I really think when we go, you know, like this and then shut that off as well, it looks beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Got the crew doing some work for us today. The work the boss doesn't enjoy. So looking at the production now, we can see this burnt through everything. Okay, so if we look at the mixer here, silage is out overpowering hay at this point. So we are going to come here and we'll activate that. They're going to be dropping off very soon over here. So they're filling up right now. Let's get these UIs fixed. Oh no, that's actually realistic there, isn't it? There we go. That's how it should look over here. I guess that is good. Yeah, 91%. So they will be heading over there momentarily. But why is this on? Oh, just because I was hitting home while I was in it. Chris is in ramble mode. Okay, I want to take a look at some silos here that I do have. Not a huge fan of them, but I think we can customize them. Oh, are they not? Okay, we do have these optional multi-fruit ones, 10 million capacity, which is kind of OP for $30,000, but we are going to go with those. It does look a little similar to the one across the way, so that's good. So I wanted to kind of get a look here about how far I need to terraform, and we are going to grab right here and just kind of flatten a little longer over here. Whoops, right click and then do that. Try not to mess with their route. Man, that is so steep right there. So we did come this, well, maybe we could put it here. Let's soften this back up. I don't like the way that's unfolding there. Yeah, let's make sure everything looks, yeah, that looks okay. And this is why I do this stuff for free, because I do it for the look of the series. I say that a lot and not necessarily function. And so I don't like losing money when I'm just trying to make things pretty for you guys. So if we came over here, this should be pretty flat. So we will have to flatten it out a little bit here, but if we bring it off, yeah, about off the road a little bit. So we're gonna prep this. And I'm gonna grab right there, make the mouse a little bigger, and just kind of back this up a little bit. And I think at that point, we should be good on the road that we've designed there. And then let's smooth out the road, smooth the edges. And then, yeah, just smooth all of this. And then when we come in here, it still will say we don't have enough money, but we should see it look a lot better. Yeah, that looks much better. And I believe we can go a little silly with customizing here, which we probably will go with like a grayish color. Let's get that purple out of there. And just kind of bring it up. That's way dark. But yeah, something like that's kind of what I'm thinking. But we need $30,000 now. So I am going to sell a little bit of the lettuce because we do need to get that going for us to be able to keep producing the TMR to make sure we have the maximum capacity once things go good price-wise. So let's look at the price of lettuce here. We're just under 3,000, and if we wanted to completely fund this, let's make sure we have, yeah, 10 will be plenty. So we'll have a little bit of extra cash. And honestly, don't tip, don't tip, don't tip, don't tip, don't tip. Let's grab a couple more. Because we are gonna need, no, you know what? Let's go grab the wood beam. There might be two actually at this point. And I don't think I'm gonna feed the sawmill any more wood. The cows agree. I just don't think it's part of cattle ranch, guys. I know we did that a lot last time around, and it was a big reason why we got things funded as fast as we did. It just doesn't seem to fit to me. So we might let this run out of wood, set it to selling for the excess, and then sell it off. All right, we should be able to grab that now, and we'll see if there's another one that spawns, because it's been a minute since we've sold these. We're 500 away. And missing materials. Okay, so let's do that now. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna deactivate this. We're gonna change output to selling. And the next hour, we should get, 500 liters worth of a wood beam in our income deposited, and then we can sell that production. Because, like I said, we got enough series where I'm cutting down trees. The hardwood challenge, that's enough for me. I'd rather focus on what cattle ranch is supposed to be. Everything for them cows. Now, I believe there is a production that people have been telling me about, a logistics warehouse that we could have things distribute a little better for us. I think for now, I will set up some courses that just have, our workforce do it for us so that we can see it happening. That's why I like it. It looks like the world that we're playing in is alive instead of always using distributing and selling. So 43,000 bucks. We haven't sent it in a while. Let's send it. And they finished mowing, so that should be about perfect timing for us to grab that tractor and start moving some TMR into this new silo when we get it built. We'll still get out of debt this year. I think this is a investment that's absolutely needed to keep us moving. And I'm kind of excited to see what we need to do to make adjustments long term to really get this thing cranking to make a lot of money. So let's go here. And I am going to grab a gray like that. So let's go into customize. And we'll just grab about right there. That's a little dark still. Go that. Let's meet in the middle now. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, so let's get out of that. We want to hit back. And then snapping on. Let's look up top down. Lines up really good with the road. We're going to push it back a little bit there and then have some tracks come in here. So I know I did this off camera last video, so we'll do it on camera for you guys. Is that what we're using? Animal mud? It looks like it is. So we'll have it kind of cross over like that. And then kind of do the same where it loops back here. And we'll have them... They should have the turnaround here still that they could utilize, or they could come this way, jump on here, turn around, get back in there. That should work. And just in time because they're blocked by an object. So let's get this moved and we'll double check that this is going to let us put TMR in here. We'll have to go grab it would be best to do it with the Brent. So we'll grab that. Once we know this is working, I will re-add the grass down here as well. This might be so low of a need, like not needed very often, that I might just, I'm gonna do this until it's overwhelming myself. So, I mean, we have our worker picking up grass for us. We can do a little bit of work here. It'll just be about 4 or 5 loads, and I'm sure there's more for it to generate. So let's go ahead and see how we did with our paths here. We kind of come in this way. Yeah, it's pretty smooth. That will work for me, and it will let us put it in here. And it does have, I think it was a 10 million capacity. So we'll never run out with this. Not super realistic there. I might end up actually adjusting that to like 200,000 or something. But let's look at the production and see how much like room that did sell. Okay, I didn't see the money come in, but you guys might have. We want this one. Yeah, it's gonna burn through, gosh, probably another 200,000. So this is gonna start, start looking really good here when it comes to the dollar amount for TMR, because right now it's 103,000. We're going to be able to get that to skyrocket big time. And now that we have goods in the fermenting silo, let's double check that that is actually producing good. Hay and silage are being produced. Lovely. All right, I'm going to do some trips here and free up the fermenting silo so that it can do its job without stopping. And eventually figure out if we're gonna need to automate that or not. So, all right, I'll probably rejoin you when it's time to do the harvest in June. Just love seeing the workers come through our paths we made, guys. I did remember we do need to do the rolling, so I'm gonna leave this here for now. Once it's done unloading, we're gonna get the roller hooked up to the case here. And I think they've given us enough room to where I can do some headlands and start working some ups and downs while they're still picking up the grass. But multitasking, want to get to those harvests, want to get back to the next phase of cutting grass. And, you know, we might add crops like soybeans and all that other stuff just to keep the variety, you know, now that I'm thinking through it. I think that's probably why Cattle Ranch was so popular in FS22 when we did it, because it was about cattle, but we did all types of crop types to make as much money as possible and had a lot more fields. But I do have plans. I do have plans for how I want to finish this, so I want to keep it going and try to keep the variety going for you guys. And being that it's like a one video and not like a video every 2 days like it used to be of this series, I think that might help. I think that probably will help. You get a couple hours of Cattle Ranch every like 3 or 4 weeks until it's done. You know, and then we jump into the next series that's going to have a different focus. Chickens. Or whiskey. I think we found a good formula here. I echo what our good friend Mike said in the comments of the chicken video. The formula's feeling pretty good on the SWU channel. I'm loving it, guys. I am loving it. I hope you guys are as well. Let's get this rolling going. Let's do, just to make this not risky, we'll do 2 headlands here, and I'll be able to do the headlands, and we'll not use speed overrides so that we don't catch up. And I'll just enjoy, you know, a little bit of music in the background and some farming simulator. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, and I think I was muted for a while I was doing the last segment. So we are moving some TMR back and forth now, and I just set up the course, though I think I have a little improvement that I want to make to it. But they're going to go back and forth and move from the TMR mixer to the multi-fruit silo for us. It was already at 94,000, so it was almost already done producing to where it was just going to halt and wait for some extra capacity. So we'll get everything moved over here. We have 141,000 liters in here already, as we can see, plus, and it's growing. So now let's see, this should turn around, and I know we kind of talked about relaxing on showing this a lot, but I'm in the moment. So you can see the tire tracks are going exactly where they should go, though he decided to do a longer route. All right. I got some debugging to do, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, Will Auto Drive's fighting with me, and it's picking a longer route for whatever reason, so I think we're gonna just do this ourselves until we can get another piece of equipment that we're not worried about how long it's taking. Each round trip was gonna be about 5 minutes right now, and I think once you're caught up, it wouldn't be a big deal, but we need to use the gravity wagon next month. So what I'm tempted to do is get to the where we're at our next cutting session and then let the production just kind of do this. Like use one track. We need another tractor. Like we need to grow. But I'm thinking next time we cut that grass, we can have this tractor do the cutting and the pickup while the International is just driving this back and forth to keep the production moving. And if we take a small break, meaning a month just to do the harvest, I think we'll be fine. But overnight, this is absolutely going to fill up, and probably 2 more times. Right now, you can see we're at 90,000 already in TMR. We're at 80,000 in lettuce. Things are looking good. Lettuce has nothing to do with cows, too, as I was talking about that earlier with the other production. But now that we're thinking about it, we're going to go ahead and sell this. We're going to get 16 grand, which isn't bad. Which then begs the question, how much was the Brent? It's not an auger wagon. It is a gravity wagon, which is just going to be under trailers. 20 grand. And we could do like a brown color for TMR. Yeah, let's do that. I know we weren't going to spend money, but I think it'll make sense. And then we can have this move on over to do the harvest in June. And we can have the International keeping the production up and running. And we will catch up still before we get to June and just have that on rotate. We are working on the harvest right now. We've got this worker who's confused, but he's unloading the grain cart, or he's working with the harvester to get the harvester unloaded. And then over here we have a new Brent that we purchased. We spent $20,000 on it. And it is driving back and forth to keep the production fed. We did decide to do that, so it's at 82,000 right now. We got a whole lot that are coming. Let's look at time-saving stock check. We have $126,000 worth of total mixed ration already. Price isn't great right now, so that's all right. And they're doing a weird course, so I need to get this fixed. And I think what I'm going to do right here, since they keep grabbing themselves here, I'm gonna start recording and just kind of maybe create a loop here that they might favor instead of doing the 4-minute track that they're doing. Then we're gonna come in here. I'm gonna use the scroll wheel to smooth that out, turn off recording, and let them go. And hopefully that'll allow them to just turn around. They weren't liking the turnaround I set up by the multi-silo. I don't know if it was too sharp right here. They were not favoring that, even though it does blend right in. So I might see the problem, but we're going to try that for a little bit. We have set up course play here on lands, and if you watched my last Poland video about a week and a half ago, it's a pretty awesome way to do the harvest, and we will get to that momentarily and show you exactly what I mean by it. Gravity wagon is full, so hopefully they will get back in time to unload. But yeah, so we'll take a look at that. It's pretty sweet. I was going to do this harvest myself, but I have an opportunity to really see this in action, so I wanted to give it a shot. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so it shows 58 seconds, so I think they are favoring that new turnaround. So they're going to, yeah, that little arrow up there, if you could see it. They're going to do this little loop we just created. And that should make them a lot more efficient. It should be about 2 minutes between trips to that production now. And they're keeping up with it. So eventually this will all get caught up and we won't have to do that anymore. It looks like there's a little bit more hay that they're going to send over. And another 70,000 here, another 180. So 270 plus what we're, well, 70 is already counted in here. So another 280 of TMR just from these 2 fields. So we're starting to see the beauty of the plan that I created. We should be making close to, I don't know, maybe 500,000 a year on TMR right now with just those 2 fields. minus what we have to feed our animals. Be interesting to see at the end of the year. All right, so they're done with the headlands now, and they're gonna find a spot to open up the field, and it said 6 lands. So depending on where they're gonna go here, and hopefully their grain cart operator's not gonna be in the way. They are just turning around. Okay, so they're not gonna be in the way. So I think they're gonna turn left here in a second. Oh, let's double check. We do have this set up correct? Oh, we can't look at it. Oh man, where are they going? Oh, that's right. There's weird angles here. Okay, so they're probably gonna go to this next one here and get started. Yep, okay. So let's go ahead and shut that off. So they are opening up the field in the middle. So this pass, they'll be blocked and unable to be unloaded, but for the next 5 passes after that, 2 on each side. So I don't know why it's 6. It should be 5. So 1, and then they'll come back this way for 2, and then 3, and then back this way for 4, and then 5. And it might make 6 lands. I don't know exactly what that means. I'll have to play around with that, but it is doing what I expect, and they will do this pass next. And at that point, the grain cart operator should come over here, but they're not. Once they hit, I think 50% is when he'll come over here, I think is how I have it set up. But this will allow us to, we're not gonna stop very often, right? We're gonna be constantly harvesting and not have to worry about it. Not have to worry about them being facing the wrong direction when we need to unload them. Yeah, we need to adjust the header size on this. The pipe's too small. I know we talk about it all the time. I completely forgot. There's too much time in between videos there. So even with a smaller header, we're gonna be more efficient this way. So you can see now we can just come here and unload them, and I'll run cart the rest of the way. Because they can fit, but just that offset we couldn't get to work, and it is tight. Because they're trying to center the grain cart, the gravity wagon with the pipe instead of doing the offset like we are. But pretty awesome. They're already completely unloaded, and we're just keeping up with them and chasing them at this point. And we're gonna pull ahead, let them turn around. And I think we're gonna ignore that tiny little pass, and up there you see the little tiny triangle they're gonna do, and then that next full pass is when we'll start seeing the magic. All right, and catching up to them on this pass again. This definitely will be enough for us to head on into the silo and empty it. Let's get close enough to them for that. Oh, we're going a little too quick there. There we go. And that should lock us in the same speed that they're going. Some nice barley in there. And we'll probably do oats in the spring like we talked about in the soybean field. And then the soybean field will turn, or then this field will turn into a corn field next time around, I think, depending on the money. See, that wasn't quite enough, but I am going to go unload it while they start the next land there. And I did notice they're almost caught up with the fermenter, or the TMR mixer, sorry. So we might be able to get them on baling? Maybe. Might just do that in July while we're cutting. A lot going on to keep track of. There they go, they opened it up again right here. So we can just kind of follow through. And once they turn around, we can start unloading them. Super efficient, guys. There we go. It's a beautiful thing. You know, they finish this pass, we're gonna get out of their way, let them turn around, and we can just instantly start unloading them. Awesome. See you guys in a little bit. We're gonna bust this out. And they've caught up, so they're just gonna wait till they're full at this point. So they're waiting for the production to do its thing. See, it has plenty to go through, but silage over here is almost over there. Okay, so yeah, it's just gonna be waiting. They're opening up a new land here. 80% full. This is awkward because they weren't unloading them. So they're probably gonna... Yeah, I don't even know where it's going now. Like, what is it even doing? They're still gonna have to cut in, even though we set this up correctly. Oh, they're just gonna drive on the fruit. on the grain. Why are they doing that? But going good. Going good. Let's see what we have in the silo so far for barley. We already have 39,000 liters. We have 13,000 in here, which I don't believe is counted. And then another 6,000 in here. Well, like, are they intelligent enough to just back up and unload? No, they're gonna cut in. That would have been awesome if they would have just backed up and unloaded. So, not the best field capacity-wise. And harvester for that setup that we're trying to show, but it does work good. Just bad timing on this one. Oh, and I did get the offset fixed. Look at that. Working perfect now. Apparently they got sick of waiting. 60% is all they wanted. And now they can't back up because of the straw? Oh, because it's a gravity wagon. Yeah, there's no backing up with a gravity wagon. We got to change our equipment out eventually, I think. Yeah, they're kind of figuring it out. I think it was a combo of the swath and the type of... yeah, okay. I'll see you guys in a little bit once this is done. And just, looks like, is it one more pass after this that we're going to have to do? And unloading on the go here. So yeah, we should just have to turn around and finish the harvest. Pretty efficient. And they are going to get the rest of it. Nice. I was worried it was going to be a tiny little pass left, but we are good here. Should be plenty of capacity in the gravity wagon to finish this harvest, and then we'll see that grand total of barley and what we're going to bring in financially from that, not counting the straw. Most of the straw is going to help us make more TMR and then also manure, so that's going to be good. We're going to have to get a production eventually to turn the slurry and manure into fertilizer, so we can sell that and use it. I think I prefer doing that route than getting the equipment for spreading the manure and slurry and selling it directly. Just make more money off of our cattle operation here. And done. Let's go drop this off and see our grand total. Finishing unloading here. We're already up to 75,000. What a good harvest. 76,600. According to Time Saving Stock Check, that's going to bring in around $87,000. All right, we're out here picking up some straw. I've taken a little bit of a liberty. I've made a modification to this forage wagon so it can pick up a lot more straw and grass. That's just the way I kind of want to do it here. Just thought I'd be completely disclosed. It can get up to 300,000 liters now, and it'll make my life a lot easier. So we're gonna pick up the rest of the straw. The thing I didn't think about is we probably need to get a silo eventually that we can put straw in. I guess we could check that multi-fruit one. So what we're gonna do, I don't know when we're gonna switch to buy the mineral feed. Thinking through it, we'll have to see how much that costs. Is it gonna be worth switching to the different recipe that includes the mineral feed just to give us an extra 50 liters every time we use it? So it's 50. Well, let me explain that. I'm trying. So for every 3,000 liters of silage, if we use the other production recipe, we'll get 500 extra in straw and 50 extra in mineral feed. It's like a 1-to-1 use of the mineral feed, I believe. Let's double check. Yeah, so 50 goes in, and all these numbers add up to 3,550. So probably will do that for a little bit. I mean, it is going to add, but I want to see how expensive the mineral feed is, because if it only adds 50 liters every time, is 50 liters going to be worth the cost of the mineral feed? Actually, I want to know right now if I can figure out where to find it. A mineral feed is $1,000 for 1,050. Is there another one? Let's do some math. So 1,050 divided by 50 goes in at 21 times. So 1,000 divided by 21 is $47. Okay, so 47 is what we're looking at. And then if we come over to TMR, with $47 being our thing, so if we say 414 divided by, so that's 1,000 at 414. So 1,000 divided by 50, that's 20. 414 divided by 20 is $20. So it's gonna cost us $47 to add the mineral feed. and we only get $20 in return. Makes no sense to me. We do get that extra 500 from the straw, but would it make more sense to just sell the straw? Because that would be about 200,000 or $200 per 1,000 straw, right? If it's 500 going in each time, so you get half of what. Oh man, guys, I don't know if I'm doing the calculation right there. I just feel like the mineral feed's not adding to the value. So I think what we're going to do is the straw is just going to go towards the cattle and not the TMR. Long explanation, but that's where I'm leaning. All right, looks like we're going to get about 250,000 liters roughly. And we'll drop off as much as we can to the dairy cattle first here, and then we will try to put the rest in that other silo. I believe it will work since it is the multi-fruit one, but we'll find out shortly. I'm fairly confident though. We'll have to back this up because the case, does the case fit? I don't think it does, and I think this forage wagon's a little too tall too, so we'll back it up here. And gosh, guys, we need to start figuring out what we're gonna do with milk. All right, let's get this just straight as we can in here. I believe we've done this before, so this should be fine. Yeah, it does work right at the edge there. So we'll put as much as we can, like I said, and then we'll drop this off at the silo. It's actually taking a lot more than I thought it was gonna. But I think now that we did that math, I'm pretty confident that we don't wanna do the other recipe with TMR. It just doesn't really make any financial sense to me. If we didn't modify that for our own, this isn't the right place. Straw could go there, but that's not where we want to put it. We want to put it here, so we'll wait for our TMR delivery here, and then we can drop off the straw. Let's see how that's looking. 468,000 liters at this point for $174,000 at peak, which is actually pretty low compared to what the real peak is. This isn't showing that full amount there. Okay. They're pulling forward. We can go ahead and get the moment of truth here for us. Awesome. All right, so that might change the capacity over here, though, if we're going to store straw. It won't now, but later on it definitely will as this starts building up and stockpiling every time we do oats or whatever crop we're going to do in the fields next time. And I did want to take an update on the beef cattle here. So we have 90% reproduction on 10 of them. So they're going to give us a lot more, and that is the moment when we want to sell these 10. So we will be selling 10 cattle here in July, which will be some extra cash. And just to kind of remind you what our game plan here was 2 reproduction cycles, and then we sell them. So if we find those 10 and we change that, yeah, 15 grand, we're gonna lose $800, but there was no location, I believe, to drop them off anyways on this version of the map that we're playing with. So we wouldn't even be able to sell them ourselves anyways. So the plan is to get the slaughterhouse eventually, if we have to make our own or find one that's out there. We need to get a bucket here too. Feed's looking good, but once we sell those, we'll have a little less feed to go through each month. So we have these 24-month-olds that are gonna reproduce next, and then the 13-month-olds, and when these 12-month-olds get there, man, we should start increasing the beef cattle pretty good here. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it July. I am going to get through both of the grass cuttings in July and August. I will update you on anything important that happens, but if it's just boring and cutting grass and turning it into TMR and all that, we'll just do an update when we get closer to, yeah, it's gonna be ready that much. So once we get closer to the soybean harvest. And I guess we're gonna check on the reproduction here. They did reproduce, so we should have a bunch more babies, and we do have 10 of the 0-month-olds. So let's go ahead, before we get started on the previously mentioned harvest there, we're gonna sell these 10 for 31,000. So I think I might've grabbed the wrong ones last time. I think I did. So they're gonna bring in $31,000. We'll go ahead and sell those. 41-month-old, I think their value is going to start decreasing. At least that's the way I've understood it. And let's get this even closer. We are going to knock this down to 80,000 in debt. Now, I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, we're done with the first field, and doing it this way, we can see that we get 171,000 liters for that one. I'm super interested now to see what we bring in August for the field to our left. But dropping this off at the fermenting silo, gonna get the, can we? There we go. We're gonna get the International back onto the brown gravity wagon and start doing their cycles to move the TMR around. Why do we keep getting stuck in vehicles? So strange. Seems like the bug's getting worse. I mean, I wouldn't mind if there was 2 of me. I'd get a lot more work done. And just double checking that all the productions are activated. They are, so they should start getting this producing again. We have 68,000 liters to catch up on. And we're gonna do the rolling next myself. And then we'll get to August, do the cut back there. Pretty repetitive, but I'll try to make it entertaining for you guys. Well, we're trying to get to October so we can do the harvest of the soybeans. You can see our money's negative. So the production costs are actually killing us right now. And we'll take a look at that in the finance tab momentarily. We have over 1 million liters of TMR. This feed operation is working exactly how I envisioned it. So we're gonna work on getting a little bit closer to being out of debt here and get our money back in the positive so we can actually have our workers working for us again. And unstrap that, hit something there, but we'll take it. That brings our money back up to 54,000. So we're in the positive. I'm not gonna actually pay off the debt yet. I just wanted to make sure we had enough money to keep us afloat until things are at a better price. Though we're close, And we'll take a look here. Let me get parked by the lettuce and we'll show you how things are looking. Lots of tire tracks. Things have been insane over here. I did finish decorating this a little bit too. I think that looks much better. All right, let's start at the finance tab. So if we look at, we're looking for production costs. Yeah, 6,200 in August, 5,300 in July. So when we're running that TMR mixer and the fermenting silo, it is costing us a little bit of money. So that's why we went negative there. Still 80,000 in debt. And then hopping over here, we have 964,000. We will get over 1 million with what it's going to produce here. Well, maybe we won't. We actually finished up. That's where we're at. So I don't know if it counts this amount, but it'll be really close to 1 million. So when the time comes to sell all the TMR, we're gonna have to find a way, because that's gonna be a whole lot of trips with only 22,000 liters at a time. We have made it to October. We're finally doing the soybean harvest here. You can see we have 1,500 liters in so far. Cruising along nice. We got both grain cart operators ready to help us unload. I'm gonna do the harvest myself. We'll see how they operate here. No need to do lands or anything. We can control that on our own. I might actually kind of copy that pattern myself as I'm doing this harvest. But looking good. We should have, let's double check here. This should be 100% yield bonus as well. Ooh, only 90. What did we not do here? Did we not mulch? I thought we mulched and rolled. So we'll have to see if there's a need for lime. No weeds. Well, it needs lime now. So I'm not 100% sure what we did there to not get 100%, but we'll try to get it next time. We do have the mulcher and roller, so we should be successful doing that. But here we go up the, if we just call them now, we should get them to just start unloading us. We'll see how it goes. And here they come. So we have both of them operating. I don't know if we'll need both of them. Soybeans pay well, but they don't yield the best. So it's going to take longer to fill up these gravity wagons, which is absolutely fine, but extra income, we won't see it this video. We'll see it in the next one because the prices should be good in July. We'll double check that because some maps are different, but I'm pretty sure it's around July. And they are not pulling over as far as they should. So that might end up being an issue. I think we have the other tractor configured correctly for that, but pretty nice unloading on the go here. Shouldn't take very long to do the harvest with these grain cart operators functioning correctly. I love it, man. Really found a good way to play that I just love with Farming Simulator, and I am beyond addicted right now, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. All right, we're opening up the field now. Just called them to kind of get them out of the way there. I think these shorter passes are going to be a little difficult to get unloading, so I might slow down a little bit for them here. But moving along nice. Got the one headland done already. And yeah, we're at 50%, so I think what I'm going to do is once they, well, they're going to be pretty confused. We're just going to shut that off so that they just stay where they're at. And then we'll unload when we need to. But I think we are going to time lapse the rest of this for you. And I'll probably jump in every once in a while and talk, but let's get a good time lapse going here. Now, kind of interested to see what they're doing here. Come on, guy. Let's slow down a little bit. Maybe give them a shot. Yeah, like, that's what I don't get right there, is why did they stop? They were coming already, and they just decided to stop. I'm confused. I don't... Oh, so close. I was trying to pull it off, but I think we can. I think we can. Oh, we did damage some crops. Let's give that a shot. I'm just going to be patient. I'm just going to sit here and wait for him. There we go. All right, that makes me happy. Let's go ahead and just get out of their way. And then maybe they won't have to back up. Then we're going to turn around. We need that path they're on. But absolutely fun, man. Making a lot of money with not a ton of land here. Making wise decisions. Let's get her done. Jeez. 2 grain carts was a bad idea. Was a bad idea. And the last pass. And we'll see. I've lost track of how much soybeans we've gotten. You know, 2 grain cart operators was definitely overkill for this. I think we could have handled it with just 1. But I thought it would be quicker. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. We got to get better equipment. I think the gravity wagons, we're outgrowing them. Especially next episode if we are able, and we should be able to do a major expansion. And I'm planning on moving the beef cattle next episode as well. So good stuff coming. They're gonna get close and then they're gonna slow down, or they're gonna prove me wrong for once on the final pass here. I love it. I love it. I will absolutely take being wrong here. Beautiful way to end, and then they stop. See, that's where it gets a little confusing. No reason to stop. I don't understand that. But we're gonna stop right here, give them a moment to come and unload us, and we're done with the harvest. I mean, no reason to fight them, right? We can just operate it ourselves. All right, 19,000 liters there. This one is empty. So yeah, it's gonna be time to start filling this from the TMR production, no, from the multi-fruit silo to animal dealer with total mix ration. But we're just gonna get that prepped. And this one's waiting for call. You just need to go unload. All right, so I am going to get some equipment put away. We're gonna get it to the point where we can sell the TMR. Make sure we're taking care of the animals, and we're gonna make enough money to buy some equipment that's gonna help us sell this stuff quicker. Let's get out of this guy's way though. Wow, he's flying. Whew. Just so it's out of the way right now, we'll stop. Well, no, that might interfere. I don't think it will, that's fine. And just kind of talking to myself, but we'll give you an update here in a minute when this guy figures out where he's going. Oh, I have that set up completely wrong, that's why. Straw field, wait, we need this to go to the silo. All right, they have come and gone. We need to stop them, but let's go ahead and hop over here and take the look at the number. We could probably sell that, I don't know. We could just consolidate to the OP a million 10 million capacity one. We have 32,800 soybeans, which is going to bring in $121,000. So half of what Barley brought in, but if you consider the straw as well, I think it was still more profitable. Pretty exciting. We're going to get to the point where we can sell some of this stuff, and I'll see you then. All right, I'm not sure if the price is going to go up. It has not been. We're doing, you know, faster speed. So I think what I've decided is we're going to get out of debt. We're going to get out of debt. Call year 6 done. It switched over. It didn't adjust. So yeah, well, I don't want to sell too much today. So I'm going to have my employees help me out here. They're going to do some trips right now. Let's go to the finance tab. We're going to repay as much as we can. We're down to $35,000 in debt. So we're going to do a handful of trips here of selling TMR. And they should be able to completely function together, both of these harvesters. But like looking forward to the future here, I want to make wise decisions, so I don't want to rush it right now just to finish this video. I want to do some research on the equipment changes I want to make. And we look at time-saving stock check. We know we're going to get about $180,000 worth of lettuce. We're going to get about $350,000 worth of TMR, 120 in soybeans, 87 in hay or barley. Minus some dollar amounts there, it's about $750,000. So that tells me we've got some major decisions to make in year 7, and I would love to see some suggestions. I think expanding and doing some equipment upgrades so we can do things a little bit faster. This might be a series that we end up, if I can get it efficient enough, doing two years per video. But let's get out of debt first before we get too far ahead of ourselves. And selling the first batch here. I can't remember what we're going to make. Actually, we don't know on this dollar amount, so let's see together. I do like how high it's getting there. Should be about, I don't know, 8 or 9,000. 8,500 per trip, and the other one should be close. They're pulling. I wonder if they're going to hit each other coming out of here, aren't they? Let's see what happens. They might run into each other. Let's see if they respect each other or not. They're both on auto drive. They should. Oh, they're going to miss. Lovely. Yep, it slowed down. Nice. All right, now let's switch to this one. Let's slow roll it. We're gonna slow roll it. We're gonna repay as much as we can. We're down to 30,000 in debt. And the second one. Imagine how long it would take if we did all 900,000 liters. Whew. We'll figure out something. Big operation we got going here now. We got to get the equipment to match. All right, we're gonna be able to pay off another 10,000 here, bringing us down to 20. I will rejoin you when this grain cart gets back here. All right, we ended up having to do one more load because we were $445 short there. So here we go. 20,000, there it is. Let's go to the finance tab one more time. We are officially out of debt in Cattle Ranch. A little bit of extra here to get us through till the prices are great on everything. Well done there, man. Just another loyal employee right there behind me. I'm Soxway Up. Thanks for hanging out. Next episode, we'll definitely be expanding big time here on Cattle Ranch. We've proven the business model is worth it. We're just going to make it even better and make a ton of money every year. We're not going to stop till we get the setup I want and build our beautiful farm. Well, we need a house too. We need a ranch. I'm Soxway Up. I'll catch you on the next one.